the motherfucker stayed off the fucking clip. Yeah, this how I do it. Fuck you. Everybody, man. See the fucking thing in that.
The K district is absolutely mental. I don't think my mother would let me go to work if she knew what I was dealing with every day. Any reason you have a hammer and a hatchet in the back of your car?
Everyone move back. Move back now.
My most favourite type of person to do is someone half mad. And I knew I was going to get all that in the K, like.
Fucking now we're wankers.
We have a running joke that when you leave, you should get a medal. I survived the K.
It's out of this world. It's mad. All these words they've heard before, and it doesn't do justice.
Now we're in the face of the people that they're writing about in the papers every day.
Because what the fuck is up to?
Well, we're just doing a bit of gardening.
My first day I got out, I thought I was after being dropped in Beirut.
It is the Wild West. Like, I went to one call one night and they had bow and arrows. They were firing arrows at each other.
Before I ever came out here, I'd heard about the K district and that it was a mad spot. It absolutely is everything people have said that it is. I'm responsible for all crime, I suppose, that happens within the Blanchardstown district, or District K as we call it. I suppose the reason I joined law enforcement in An Garda Síochána was I had an interest in helping people. It was something I'd wanted to do. I'd seen my mum involved in a similar role in the nursing. As I got into it, it was something I had great job satisfaction out of. Thanks for the work, lads. I know everyone's kind of burnt out at this stage between all the other stuff that's going on. So the K district includes Blanchardstown, Finglas and Cabra, so everything within the red boundary mark here, which is a significant policing district. We have a population of 175,000 people and it covers almost 95 square kilometres.
DMR West has the potential to be one of the finest, best places in Ireland to live. And there's some people enjoying that already. What you really want is that a society that has given people an opportunity.
We have to be out there, we have to be targeting those that are involved in crime. Their job is to avoid getting caught, and our job is to make sure that they do get caught and that we do put them before the courts. There's 365 days in a year to do it, and we only need one day to get lucky. They need to be lucky all 365.
That accused had unlawful possession of controlled drug to be cocaine. That's contrary to Section 3 and Section 27 as amended by Section 6, the Misuse of Drugs Act 1984. I'm going to caution you as follows in relation to these. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, and you do say will be taken down in writing and may be given as evidence. Is there anything you'd like to say in relation to them two charges? I had worked in a hairdresser's previously to joining the Guards. I really loved drama and, you know, other people's lives. How old are you?
16.
Here's your next of kin. And have you been in trouble before? No. This is the first call she'll get to come and get you from a Garda station. Yeah. How do you think she's going to take this? Yeah. Can't imagine it's going to be a nice one for her, huh? You could be here for 24 hours. Now, we don't anticipate that you will be, but I have to inform you that you could be. Okay? Do you understand?
Yeah, I'm back down to take you out in about 5 minutes.
All right, that's grand. Good man.
You never had your prints taken before, no? No. So all this you just roll your finger onto it then. Yeah. And I'll have the sheet here and you roll your finger onto it as well. Your right thumb, right? So I want you to roll it across.
And then their nicknames there.
How are you? Selena is my name, the sergeant in charge of Finglas Garda Station. We have your son in custody here. He was caught with yes, Finglas Garda Station, yeah. Yeah, perfect. No, that's grand. He said he was never in trouble before, so I take it it's not a nice phone call for you. Yeah, well look, come down and we'll have a chat. Is that all right? That's grand. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. When people come to the public counter and they look to see the sergeant, the disappointment that crosses their face, because I walk out, I'm a 5'4" blonde, they're not expecting me. Do you have details for your parent?
I made it down.
Pardon?
I made it down.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. I made it down last week.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
What'd you do for it?
Just went to pictures of my girlfriend.
Very good. You weren't out romancing her tonight, no?
No.
No? Out with the boys, huh?
Yeah.
Gun crime in Dublin has claimed another life today.
One line of inquiry is that this may be linked to a local feud.
Just take your hands over there, will you?
Yeah.
Hey, just, it was like you weren't going to stop there for a minute.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't know whether you were stopping me.
Yeah, well, there's nobody else in the road, all right? Will you just take your hand out of your pocket? You have no blades or anything, will you? Will you just take your hand out of your pocket for me? Come on, what's in your pocket? What's in your control? The remote control? Yeah.
Don't be fidgeting with armed guards when you're not. Jesus Christ, you're killing me here.
The last few years, the level of violence has definitely escalated. Access to firearms has definitely gone way up. Retaliation attacks has definitely gone up. And it's all coming from gangland.
It's just the way it is here. You know, when you stop a car, or you stop somebody involved in the feud, definitely a huge chance you're going to come across a firearm.
There's nothing drugs-wise or weapons or anything in the car or anything, no?
The car's going to be killed in the back boot. That's all.
Grant.
The K district is kind of unique insofar as you've got fractions of groups involved in feuds in various parts. Finglas, Blanche, Cabra, they all have their own little crime networks, and they're all kind of feuding with each other, not only on a local level, but then you've people feuding with other people in town as well, you know.
What's in the bag in the back?
There's an awful lot of change within the last 10 years. Violence seems to be more just widespread, serious violence. A bigger issue with drugs and gangland crime and organised crime has definitely escalated again in the last few years.
I mean, people kind of, the attitude you get off people now is, oh, she'll let them kill themselves, but that's never the case with these things. There's been innocent people killed in these feuds. You have to realise that if we, the police, don't take them on, well then no one will.
On to 205.
The reason I got into the Guards was I had a family member murdered when I was very, very young.
Control units in the kilo, lads, for a Karen Fire Hunters run. CFBF report to Karen Fire Hunters run. You know what? Blakestown hostages, Blakestown hostages.
I know exactly where it is.
Kilo Alpha 205, control at scene.
Roger that.
It probably did have an effect, and I decided at that stage, you know, without realising it, that this is what I wanted to do.
Don't email 101.
Hi.
Don't email 101. Disregard.
Right. It's just there. I think he was near the gate. He ran to get away. He shot 3 times around the chest area and then once in the back of the head. She's very upset now inside.
The focus for Gardaí now is to establish a motive for this attack and who's responsible.
Christmas is gone now. It's no Christmas in my house. What a night.
Forensic searches were being carried out in Blakestown in West Dublin today as Gardaí continue to investigate a shooting.
The scene was sealed off today as the Garda forensic examination was carried out.
It's a huge investigation, the amount of man hours that go into it. So straight away you have to start canvassing for house to house and for CCTV. The injured party lives here and he was shot and murdered here. One man comes out of the park, assassinates him, jumps into the vehicle, and then the vehicle then goes up this way. I'm right in saying that, am I right? So the car's abandoned and people run from it. Like, we don't know specifically where they've run to, and they leave the scene and we can't say how they left. So like, we've been tasked with a job to find out where they left and what they left in, and then possibly canvass the route then. The problem we're going to have now is the day before Christmas Eve, like, and this is not where someone's going to want to be going around knocking at houses. Like, for us, we have a task ahead of us today.
had to rule out the fact that they may have stopped to discard the weapon that was used to kill the deceased. So on that basis, we were there to drag the river, as they say, to try and gather evidence or find a firearm or possible firearm that was used. It wasn't recovered, but still, that was the purpose of it.
Anything in this nature, like CCTV is a huge one. Analysis of phones would be another huge line of inquiry. And then, yeah, witness accounts. And we can't really rely on many witness accounts at the minute because there's very few people that are forthcoming with that kind of information. So we're going to be relying a lot on CCTV and phones, I'd imagine. But that's kind of par for the course for these kinds of murders. Like,
first few days after fatal or near fatal shooting are crucial. Everyone's non-stop basically for those few days.
Not the worst about CCTV, you actually just have to sit and watch it. Hey man, I was about to ring in. Grand. Have you organised footage from the station camera, and then have you contacted anyone in Broombridge Lewis?
First 48 hours in anything like this is kind of critical to try and hit the ground running, you know.
Now, we don't actually have access to the CCTV footage here, but I could possibly get you the details of someone who would be able to give you the CCTV.
Yeah. Dropping in, no, you got it.
That's Broombridge and Cabra, well, isn't it?
It's the Lewis station.
Oh, the Lewis, the Ella. Oh, this, you need to check that from here then. It's Lewis. Oh.
It's the Lewis station.
Yeah.
To eliminate it. That's the issue. No, and that's just where I'd love to find him. Yeah, he came down to that wall there. Yeah, me and him went down to that wall. And then where the reverse lights of that car are, that's where the bollards are. We're just trying to canvass for footage here. But the problem being is they're in kind of the middle of the green area where people have footage. They're going to be naturally in their own houses, so we'll have to be lucky to get it. And there's no cameras in the park either, which is a shame. So it's just to see whether any of these apartments or houses up here. Yeah, we'll be very lucky, I can imagine, if we do get it.
Now, shortly afterwards, Gardaí discovered a burnt-out car. Now, both crime scenes remain sealed off this evening. Gardaí have been carrying out initial examinations of the scene.
We'll canvass here, right, and then what's across from it.
Yeah.
2 days before Christmas, you have guards knocking on people's doors, asking them to help and to let us in. Like, you know, when you have, you know, people worrying about Santi and you were presenting as a door. Now, to be fair, people were very receptive to us. Hello, how are you, Gardaí? How are things? Okay. You know, everything's fine, everything's fine. We're just doing a bit of CCTV inquiries in relation to a burnt out car. I will never be knocking on someone's door saying you've won the lottery. Like, I'm knocking on someone's door to say, like, something bad's after happening or it's happened to somebody else and I need your help. I suppose that's something different than most of their jobs.
So the process is we keep going the way we're going, interviewing as many people as we can. When somebody else is mentioned as being there or may have something to do with it or may know something about it, then we go and meet them, we interview them, we take statements. From there then you go from the forensic side, you try and you'll download and you'll do telephonic analysis on the deceased's phone and then speak to associates of the deceased to see if any of them will tell you what's going on or point you in a certain direction, and then you just keep going, keep building evidence, try and get as much forensic evidence from the scene and then try and build a case and eventually try and build a suspect to someone who committed the murder, go and arrest them, try and prove it and then take them to court.
We're going to discuss this morning, I suppose, the plan for the funeral over the weekend. We don't know, I suppose, with funerals like this. Sometimes it's difficult to plan what response they'll put in place themselves. But we're going to be in a position to support that.
Like, gangland funerals can escalate to violence sometimes, you know. We're there in a security capacity. We have to mind the people attending the funerals.
There's a lot of firearms out there in the K. Gavin, I'd ask that your resources tomorrow, I think you're putting in extra resources in Finglas, that it could be an opportunity where they'll see us focused on the funeral and police in that event tomorrow, that we have to keep our eye on everything else.
Because it could be something that they use opposing gangs could use as an opportunity to have some retaliation or that kind of thing.
If you're in the drugs trade or you're in organised crime, if one of your lads is hit, you have to be seen to retaliate.
Gardaí have had checkpoints and armed patrols in the area recently. They now say that after this shooting they'll be revisiting those checkpoints to reassure the local community.
I've been in the Guards now for 11 years, qualified about 10 years, and I've spent my whole career so far in the K. The K has got a bad reputation, Finglas and Blanchardstown especially, and in certain places it's well deserved. But at the same time, even the worst estates or the worst roads in Finglas or Blanch still have like ordinary decent people living on them, just trying to get on with their lives and some semblance of peace. So you kind of have to remind yourself sometimes who are out there for. There's no shortage of good people out there in Finglas and Blanch, Cabra. Day in, day out, we're not dealing really with the good people, we're dealing with the bad people.
So the footage here we have is online, and it shows basically two gangs indiscriminately shooting at each other within the Corduff area. It's a really, really small area. Definitely I can see it's spiralling. I think that's the generation that we're dealing with now. I think most of the ages of the people involved in the feuds now is 22, 23. So they're children, basically. It's reckless. They don't care. They're just letting off shots. There's no accuracy to it. Anyone could be killed in relation to that. And since that instant, we're now in a position where daily we're having reprisal attacks from each side. Operation Runoff is an operation set up to basically police persons involved in feuds within the K district.
Go ahead.
Roger, we're just the far side of the wall here. Anything moving there?
Negative.
Just got a call of suspicious activity at the rear of a house, target's house. Bag's been moved, so we've one car going in the front way, we're up the back here, and the lads are just out checking the lane by there. So just make sure there's no one going to come out over the walls here for a minute.
Just hold on here for a sec, will you? What's the Aaron what?
A few months ago we had 6 shootings in 48 hours. Only 4 of them got reported. We found out about the other 2 after. There seems to be one family trying to take over all the business, and they want everyone either working for them or not working at all. That's what it seems to be anyway, it's drugs, drugs and greed. And there is kids out there. There was the shooting there a few weeks ago outside the school, 4 o'clock or 3:30 in the evening. Kids everywhere.
So we're going to give a very quick overview as to what exactly happened. So if you just want to note exactly kind of the MO of what they're doing and how they're doing it, they've an actual bucket, a plastic bucket of what we believe to be petrol, some sort of flammable material. They light 2 different bottles, again, for the purpose of setting fire to the house. We can see they have hatchets in their hands and a bag with possibly rocks or some sort of projectile that went through to the window, and they get disposed of afterwards. And look, the reality in relation to this is there was 2 people in the house at the time upstairs asleep. So there was a huge possibility someone could have been killed there.
And I can't stress how important and how serious the risk to members' safety is at this stage. We're in kind of unprecedented territory. This is the most volatile feud in the country. So there's an awareness of the amount of pressure that we're under. This puts us in a position that realistically we have to anticipate that there's going to be retaliation for it, and as well as that there may be further acts of criminality and serious crime. In the K, we have a number of gang feuds that are impacting only on the K district. Some of those are internally within the Blanchardstown district, some of them are internally within Finglas. Then as well as that, we have those gangs targeting each other across Blanchardstown into Finglas and indeed from other districts into us as well. It's all down to drugs and the money that's to be made from drugs, people wanting power, looking for control of different turf areas.
People dealing left, right and centre. There's gaps been put in quite regularly over the last few weeks, but it's just to kind of give it one good hit this evening, just to let them know what we're about and that we're around basically.
We have to deal with these people full on in their face. We have to let them know they're not going to get away with this.
Ready?
Don't even think about it.
We know they're violent people. We know they're capable of anything. They have no respect for us, no respect for life. And we're in it every day. But it's the job we signed up for.
Gardy, you want a warrant? Open the door!
How are you this week? Remember me?
Yeah.
What did I say to you? You're not, you shouldn't have on you. You have a nice little bit in here, so you have.
Don't move. Don't focus.
Are you
Okay.
ERU?
No, I'm not ERU,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It doesn't matter what I am. I'm telling you to leave the area now and leave it quietly.
Leave it now.
Right, come on, go. You're getting a chance, so go and keep quiet. You won't tell me anything because the next thing you'll be up in the station, right?
God, that would terrify me.
It would, yeah.
That would terrify
Come on, go.
Don't put your head
Don't
into me.
put your hand in.
Don't put your head into me, Calvin. Calm down.
Oh, son, whisper.
Any reason you have a hammer and a hatchet in the back of your car?
Yeah, because I was chopping wood today down in the mother's.
Kenneth?
Kenneth.
Kenneth? I didn't think you were that silly. We're going to arrest you for possession of offensive weapons.
Serious?
Okay, yeah. Listen, you know and I know what's going on around here. You can't be going around with a hatchet and a hammer in the back of your
It's
car.
just-
Good man. Thank you. You've nothing on you, Dina?
She fucking recorded for. Fuck off.
Stop it now. Don't be using
What do you mean,
abusive.
stop? What you
Don't
record
be
me for?
using abusive language in a public place, okay?
Yeah.
It's to do with drugs and everything else that goes with it. They've been tit for tat kind of punishment beatings and assaults for the last, I'd say, 6 months between a phrase on the forecourts of garages when both sections meet. There's been arrests and stuff to do with that, but it hasn't quelled it. It's just getting worse.
How you telling me? I'll give you a query. You're faggot, you'd love me, you would. You'd love me, you little bitch. You little bitch, Little bitch, I'd ride you, would. I'd ride you, would. I'd ride you like a little faggot, would. Slap the little fat ass off you, ride you, little bitch. Show you who's boss. Now come in and do it. You little windbag right behind your badge. Little faggot, yeah. You're a little bitch, yeah. You're a little bitch. You're a little windbag, yeah. Windbag. I told you, I'd ride you like a bitch, you would, yeah. Get on camera, you're a little faggot, yeah. All these Why'd you keep doing that? Why'd you keep doing that? What would you do? What would you do?
Are you gonna do it?
What would you do? Do it then. Come in and do it, you little windbag, yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
You're a little windbag, yeah. Without that badge on nobody, yeah.
I don't have a badge on.
Most of us know we're here this morning anyway. It's in relation to an investigation of an assault causing harm on Saturday, 2 days ago, in the afternoon. The assault takes the form of kicking, punching, but more seriously even, with what we believe to be a knife. He cut him down the right-hand side of his chest. More a slice, I suppose, than a stab wound, but nevertheless an amount of blood loss and a wound nevertheless. So the three of them head out in the porch area. We believe the motive for the alleged assault to be with debt. The ERU are going to effect entry, so they'll maintain control of the premises until they're happy that it's secure, and then they'll hand it over to ourselves.
on to the cul-de-sac next to him. You see what happened to your mate up in Trolley. You prick, you at the credit union. That's what you're gonna fucking get.
Let me see if you're alright, and then I'll
He'll be brought down, he'll be brought down, he'll be brought down. He's going to be brought down. He's alright. You can be sure he's alright.
You fucking watch, you watch, you watch. And you watch as well, McGotten. Don't worry, there'll be grenades and all going off the Manchester. Boy, you get out here.
You're aware you're under call,
We don't give a fuck.
Come on, man.
Fucking Scott! The porters and all outside the gap. I'm gonna give you a dog's life, okay?
The type of people we're dealing with, we know have access to guns, grenades, so it is a very realistic threat.
There's no need for putting
I'll talk to you inside,
no,
yeah?
I don't want you. Get out,
Yeah,
get out.
no.
Fucking nephews.
Three of the last 6 high-profile murders or attempted murders have happened in the K. So again, it's you're draining the resources. So you have your detectives and your street crime unit out, you know, doing your investigations, and for one, and all of a sudden you have another, and then it's the same pool of people that you're using then to investigate that, and then another, and then the same pool of people that you're using to investigate that. Like,
Why do I have a funny feeling you're lying to me?
In the K district alone, we've had 2 murders and 5 attempted murders. It's the same team dealing with all of those. So the amount of work involved is just incredible. They really are pushed to the pin of their collar every day here in the K.
There for a couple of weeks we were just inundated with incidents. Like it was getting to the stage where you were just running on empty. It was insane.
A man in his 20s is in a critical condition after he was shot in West Dublin this evening.
Lee Boylan had stopped at traffic lights in his van on the Blakestown Road yesterday evening at around 5 p.m. when he was approached by a lone gunman who fired 4 shots.
When we got up there, I would have bet my house that he wasn't going to pull through. The sheer amount of blood. I could see that he had at least 1 bullet hole in his neck. He was unconscious.
Checked his pulse, there was a lot of blood. You could see it flowing out of the van underneath.
The lads, you know, did their job brilliantly, started working on him straight away.
There was little to no pulse. We knew at that stage he was he was kind of gone, so took him from the van. Myself and 2 other members started CPR on him.
There were a number of people in the area, including children. A number of bullets entered the van, came out the far side. Anybody in the vicinity could have been shot dead.
The man was treated at the scene. However, he was rushed by ambulance to James Connolly Hospital in Blanchardstown, where he remains in a critical condition this evening.
The big risk comes when organised crime groups become personal, and I think at the minute we have a situation where things are very personal. It's absolutely about targeting specific individuals, and that's the reality of our policing at the minute, trying to keep those people alive despite the harm that they're actually affecting on communities.
Noel Boylan got shot outside on the road there, once in the back and one in the arm. Non-life-threatening injuries there at the moment. Yeah, Lee was shot there a couple of months ago. I was up at that as well. You want to see him today that Lee got shot. For fuck's sake, it was a rush hour traffic. Every shooting is reckless, but this is definitely, you know, you can see yourself, a lot of people around, a lot of people heading to the Liverpool match, people even in shopping, you know. This was full of shoppers, like there was people everywhere, kids out playing, a lot of traffic. Another reckless, like, you know, murder attempt. All right. Where's he? Did it happen inside or outside?
The first shooting would have been Noel Boylan. I was involved with Lee Boylan shooting, but I wasn't at scene, so I was first at scene for Noel Boylan shooting.
Ah, Noel, how are you? You all right there? Whereabouts you hit?
In the stomach. Fuck off with this. I'm here to aid you.
Hurry.
Fuck off with the questions, yeah?
Hi, hold on a second now, relax. All right.
His son Lee was shot a few months previous. He tends to forget that it was one of our lads who actually revived Lee on that day and brought him back to life, and that's why Lee is still standing today.
Just 1 second, all right?
No, leave it on. Fuck off.
Nolly, Nolly, are you at the front or the back, all right?
Don't fill the back.
How many times?
One.
Just one, all right?
It's gone into the...
All right, okay, stand back there for a second. He had been shot, I think, through his lower abdomen, so straight away just ensured that an ambulance had been called. Kilo, what you do, can we just check is there an ambulance en route here, please? Don't give men to drink. Don't give men to drink. Don't give men to drink. He was looked there, have you any gloves in? See, a person can get shot and he can start to bleed in, you know, and they can go quiet. If they go quiet, you start to get worried, but he was still talking, he was still breathing.
Fuck off, Ted, yeah?
All right.
But yeah, being pushed away by someone who had a bullet wound. Just, you know, he was so blasé about it. He just didn't want our help. We were scum, we were anything you can think of. That's what resonated with me from that whole day. Not the fact that a shooting had occurred, it was his blatant hatred for the guards.
This Noel, just once here and once in the arm, lads. He had a bit of a drink of water now, so that was all. You didn't take any painkillers or anything, no? All right.
Right, get some oxygen on him, get a blood pressure. I'm going to give you some morphine now in a second, relax.
What's his name?
Noel.
No, just put this mask in your face.
There's oxygen there, Noel, it'll help you breathe, okay?
I interviewed some of the people that were in the shop that day, and most of them were totally oblivious to what had happened. But even then, they continued shopping.
So, he is, I'd say he's about 90 kilos. So if you want to just give him a 10.
Last call in from DFB, they're going up to Lapper for fires. They're just looking
Just hold there,
for...
just keep everyone there for the minute, fine.
Lads, move it. Come on, out of the way. He's okay. Yeah, just tell he's okay. He's okay. Well, your daughter's just there, just inquiring about you. We told her you're okay, all right? Pass that. You want her in with you, yeah? Yeah, we'll bring her up. Yeah. You're going to go in the car there, okay? Yeah.
He's okay. There's scumbags. What are you going to do about it? Nothing!
Relax. Very hostile crowd. His relations were there. Look at emotions are going, you know.
They're angry, they're scared, they might be irate, and they have to direct all that somewhere, and it usually gets directed at us, which makes it harder for us to work.
They're going to throw that hatred at us until the end of their days, no doubt. That's never ever going to change. But they can't see themselves in the circle that they've gotten involved in. They will never see themselves as criminals. They will never see themselves as being involved in this outrageously dangerous feud that they're involved in. And that's just how it is. Like, they do nothing wrong, ever. And that's always their go-to. Like, I've done nothing wrong, I'm not involved in anything. What are you talking about? That's not me.
I know him over the years. He wasn't too cooperative there now, he just kept telling us to fuck off, but he doesn't realise we're just there trying to help him. And, you know, but you look at he's upset. I suppose you would be too if you got shot. Everything happens so quick, you know. We were just on our way for food and this happens, you know. It's always the way. Everything just happens here in the K and Blanche very, very quick. His son is going to go fucking nuts when he hears this.
Why?
Because he's in the hospital up here.
Oh, wow.
He's in JCM as well, yeah. There's car fire and swords, but whether it's something to do with this or not, we don't know. That'll come out in the wash, you know. Yeah. No going home early tonight.
No.
Again continues to be the fact that we have a number of firearms out there, and I think any opportunity we have to reinforce their vulnerability around the firearms that are up there and around the capacity that the individuals have with the firearms and the lack of respect that they have for the guards. They've previously assaulted a number of the members where there's no firearms involved. We've now moved into a space where they're involved in a gang feud. There is very, very serious risk to all our members' safety.
So as a series of shootings occurred in Corduff area over the weekend, this area of woodland close to the scenes of the shootings has been identified as a place where weapons may have been concealed. The searches have been ongoing over the last number of days. It's quite dense woodland, so a decision was made to bring in the army to assist the guards, and which have resulted in 4 sawn-off shotguns being found. Guys that you wouldn't think would be prone to take up a firearm have easy access to them at the minute, and for an unarmed force we're going up against them, and it's, you know, what do you have? You have an asp and a pepper spray, so it's not gonna help you that much if you have a gun pointed at you.
You all go on for grub now. I'll hold the scene here. That's the I-30, the compal car. There's nothing in them, no?
We searched the area surrounding where the 4 persons were seen and other persons who we believe would have been involved in that transaction, and the crew are after finding the gun with the silencer on it, like here. So we just get scenes of crime down now to take photographs of it in situ, and then we get it forensically examined. So it's actually a fantastic result. And that's it, that orange glove was with it?
It wasn't covered over, it's covered over with shrubs. I just saw this.
But the orange glove was with it?
Yeah, exactly where it was.
Shortly after 7 a.m. this morning, Gardaí seized 2 machine guns, a Magnum handgun and a silencer, along with 300 rounds of ammunition and more than 200 shotgun cartridges.
That work that was done that located those guns was fantastic work, but you can see the amount of guns that are still in play. We believe from one of the attacks there that there's at least 1 machine gun in play, and clearly from even the video you can see the number of handguns that are there. So they haven't been located, so they're still there and they have the potential to kill people.
As a sergeant, I worry. Everyone is unarmed on my unit and we are dealing with persons involved in the feud. Okay, so that's obviously a worry for me. However, what I will say is we're hugely supported by other units. The detective unit are armed, they give us great support locally, and also we have the armed support unit.
Now, I would ask that the visits are done by a combination of armed and uniform.
Being armed would definitely change the way you go about your work. We're usually the first response, but we have a great deal of support there behind us then. You know, we have the armed support unit there, which isn't something that we had when I first joined the job.
We have had situations down through the years where we've carried out raids and the people have discharged firearms. It happened as recently as last year in Ballymun, where ERU did a breach and one of them was shot, and the shooter claimed he thought it was someone he owed money to. These people are so spooked, they're assuming at any time that they could be shot by the opposition. But we need to stamp on this, and we need to commit everything possible to let them know that we're there, we're in their face. And, you know, as I said, getting those guns off the street was fantastic, but there's still a lot more guns, and as they call them, fast guns, which, you know, has the capacity to inflict major damage. We're currently involved in an operation where we believe guns that will be used in a murder are going to be moved within a location in the K district. We have significant resources deployed on that operation, and the outcome hopefully is the recovery of those guns and arrests.
He's approaching me there now.
It's easier coming at it towards this one.
Well, can they get out the back? If they go running from the lads, where can they get to them?
Oh, they've endless places to go. We were the only marked car. in the whole vicinity of the whole bloody operation that was going on, so we couldn't get too close to it. We were keeping step by step by the radios what was happening.
Keep it clear here now, he's just approaching the exit.
Them guns were going to be used to kill someone, without a shadow of a doubt.
He is gloves or something in his hands.
Knowing that the male had the firearm and he was just after getting into the car. It was a stolen vehicle that the driver was in. We pulled up, identified ourselves as guards. Passenger was pulled out of the car and the driver put the car in reverse and drove it at other guards that were there. And then took a big chase.
Someone get a finger on that. You want to get in position and stop that car. Hard stop, hard stop. Oh.
We had to put the car into the ditch in order to stop him before the firearms were lost, or because of the manner of his driving, he was going to do anything to get away, and he was on windy back roads and anyone could have been killed.
Just be careful approaching it there, because it's a serious amount of traffic blocked up here already.
There's two in the passenger seat there. There's two little handguns, yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realise outside of the job that we're going to incidents where there's firearms. We're going to incidents where people could possibly kill you, whereas the majority of the people will be driving away from it, we're driving to it. But you only give that thought afterwards. They had the black latex gloves on to leave no trace of DNA. They were driving a stolen car. There was 30 rounds of ammunition in it and 2 firearms. So whoever that was intended for, they were going to be shot.
There's a lot of gangsters in the K that are only walking around today thanks to the guards and our interventions, whether it be our local units or national units. But I'm not expecting a pat on the back anytime soon.
Come on. Rebecca, who's with you? How are you?
Honestly, I think we all knew as a team that eventually they had got that reckless and the feud had kind of ignited that much that we were going to get them hands on. We knew it was just when.
Yeah, when you think back of it, it was a bit of a mad day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a great result. He'd be one of the main targets at the moment, so it's obviously good. The fact that there was a hard stop there as well, he was making attempts to get away. I think the lads have Dean lifted as well, so the two of them will be in the station now tonight.
Absolutely, it's a great interception.
The reckless nature of gangs now, they don't care. They don't care about the guards, they don't care about the local community, and if they get away with these kind of acts, we've lost it. So that's why we're taking them on.
We're going into Court 5 in the CCJ, which is the Circuit Court. The two Fitzsimons, the father and son that were caught with the firearms and the ammunition, they're up today for arraignment, so we're hoping that they might throw in a guilty plea this morning, but we'll wait and see. If they do throw in a guilty plea, it'll be put back for a few weeks or maybe a month for the judge to decide on sentencing, but we'll see how it goes inside here now.
Father and son appear in court charged with possessing guns and ammunition. Kenneth Fitzsimon's further charged with driving a stolen car, 3 counts of dangerous driving. It says Garda Richie Finan told the court he arrested Kenneth Fitzsimons for the purpose of charging him at Blanchardstown Garda Station at 10:35 last night. Charged at 12:15 and made no reply to any of the 8 counts after caution.
To get a result like that, it's great. It's 2 lads off the street that essentially were going to go out and either shoot someone or shoot up a house or use the guns for intimidation, drugs. You know, so it is. It's a big day, I suppose. Yeah.
There's not a street you could go down now and that there won't be a house that has drugs in it, and that is 100% true.
He's cooking up crack, he's everything there for cooking.
The day of ringing a dealer is gone. It's Snapchat and Instagram now, like that's how everything is sold. Without social media, they wouldn't probably be as active as they are.
Gucci flip-flops! We have Gucci flip-flops!
The very perception of calling a gang after a premium brand product, it says to other young people in the community, there's wealth there.
What do you do?
You're gonna say it back.
You're gonna say it like.
Fucking shit, take your numbers off.
Stop showing off in front of all of them. Come on out then.
Staying with crime and policing, Matt and Ivan are bringing us a debate on just that in The Tonight Show in a few minutes' time. Then at 11, they've taken all the advice that Domini has had to give, and now it's time to present their ideas to the business community. The final episode of Ireland's Prison Breaks later at 11.